Welcome.
Hee-haw.
All right, this is episode number 36.
34, 36, 35.
35.
You gotta run averages. Yeah. Hee-haw, the only podcast that, I always get, or like my phone's so lame.
Don't worry, though.
Could somebody buy me a phone, please?
One day it'll run smooth, don't worry.
Hold on. Get it right here.
This is your philosophical confidence.
Yes.
All right, let's go.
The only podcast that made subtweets X-rated. Boom. I
hope that the persons or the people that you were aiming this at get it.
You know what subtweets are?
No.
Jesus Christ, man. Yeah, this is for the Americans, just in case.
Yeah, that's
But I mean,
I'm
not on Twitter, so.
It's called X now. It's called X.
Twitter's X.
Yeah, Twitter's been X.
So
A minute now.
So what do you call X?
What was X before?
Twitter.
No.
Oh,
yeah,
X,
what you?
X is Elon Musk.
Yeah.
What's
Oh
it
no,
called?
that's XXX.
Oh.
You
I
watch
see
a
what
lot of
going on
you watch a lot of pornography. That's cool.
No, that's actually.
I see what's up,
ecstasy.
Oh,
She was on a whole different.
But I mean, if I said that, then it has.
it's okay.
But I'm.
Yeah.
It's okay. What genre? That's all.
It was shown when last he was on social media.
What genre? Could we just see browsing history there for a brief second?
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, okay, yes. I'm
Welcome to the
Toolman.
Hee-Haw Show.
I'm Toolman here, as usual.
How was your
Stuff,
weekend, sir?
but I say, very meditative. You see, I can very well rest.
All right. You had a good one.
Yeah.
All right, no problem. How was your weekend, ma'am?
It was y'all made me come out of my hibernation,
Hmm.
so I mean, it was pretty restful.
Oh, let me pull a good one out of the
Fresh off the Brooklyn jacket. I see that.
She had a podcast jacket though.
She had the podcast.
She's like, this is a
I just
podcast
came back
jacket.
from
By the way.
JFK Airport.
Yeah, so
Could you introduce yourself? Like,
yeah, we get into that. We get there. You know, we have to, this is gonna be a little afterburner, if you want to call it that. But we get into it. We coming off the carnival season though. Everything was hype, everything was rambunctious and wild. You know?
yeah,
So,
I'm feeling a lot better now.
but our guest this evening has a bit much to say about the pagan hedonistic.
Oh, we going there, boy.
She's against carnival.
She is
I am.
completely
But I got my runs out of my system, though.
right. That's good. You know?
So I can't get a flex, apparently.
No,
Damn.
solved by
I was promised that anyway.
evaluation.
I'm already disappointed. Must say.
No flex. No bueno.
See why we sticking to going on Venny Gills now. You see? That's why you getting where you want.
No, but she was basically ranting.
I will play chutney back and all if that helps. My favor.
Is that a racist?
No, it's not.
Whoa,
Is it?
what just happened there?
Chutney back. Chris Garcia.
Chris Garcia.
Chris Garcia. Indian. How is that racist?
Chris Garcia is not Indian.
Chris Garcia is not.
Are you judging him by his last name?
Oh.
Being Garcia.
No, I'm judging him the fact that he's related to me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
You didn't. Look how that swung back in your face.
Is he really?
Yeah.
So what is he?
I'm Indian.
Okay, that was my second.
No, see,
He's a
his hair
Taino.
is straight. His hair is like straightened.
Where's called them
Oh,
Tainos?
you from that generation? Or
I
I'm assuming?
am, but
So
I
it's
mean,
like-
my 8-year-old me thought he was Indian.
that was the marketing, and that's the great part about it.
And I mean, chutney, bacchanal, and then Indian dance. So, I mean, naturally.
No, guys, you've been tricked. Not really tricked.
We had to get Chris on the show.
hoodwinked.
We bring him on the show.
Bamboozled.
We bring him on the show and
I would like to see-
expose all these on
Next you tell me that Zessa was actually complimenting the men and the women in the song.
Oh, backstory. Zessa. What is that?
Oh, you know what Zessa is?
Oh, I know what that is.
Okay, you know she wanted Zessa that song? That was insulting you girls. Like that saying she didn't want us to Zessa man. I was like, no, don't take her seriously. She didn't want us to man with good long chain and gun and thing.
It was satire.
It was satire, and these girls didn't get it, and they was like, yeah.
Well, there was flexing to it, so
Yeah, it wasn't.
I mean, people would flex anything, though.
No.
If they would flex this boy Raswati son song.
Watch out, my children.
You wanna jumping up to the ceiling? What a wonderful feeling.
That's his
a
son?
gospel song.
It is a gospel.
And people were flexing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
see-
but I mean, if that plays in a party, like things get uncomfortable though. Because honestly, like
Closer, a little closer. Yeah.
how could you can't flex to that? You really can't.
I've seen
it's
people
like
flex.
being in church.
I've seen people flex.
But then
That's
people
all.
is flexing in church. So
People is flexing church.
Oh.
I go to your church.
no, I don't go to church.
Oh, so
No, but like in New
I've
York, I
heard.
think they have church
she went.
clubs and thing, you know.
She went down one little church. Think she was going to get it loud and get something else.
Y'all never heard these stories?
What stories?
Church stories from people who go to church.
Oh, well, last week we had a guest. And
Well-
he said he used to go to church camps.
Yeah, you know what church camps?
I've heard of it, and I'm sure there are like lots of stories. If it's anything like what happens in churches or like after church or whatever.
Our ears are really trying to take you extremely seriously right now, but it's like the things are so big. She like cute
gosh,
now.
like a little
Like
child,
she's
yeah,
like a real
like a
cute.
little
Like it's like
baby.
like legit. It's like
you know, little
I'm
baby
watching
just
her
have
and
one
she
of big
does- She
headphones.
does big headphones and thing. Could we see witty glasses too?
Oh gosh,
No.
it's a good look.
You'd have to walk like 50 extra steps because
So
she
adorable,
does
she's
tiny.
so
But I
Just
feel
tiny.
like your headphones smaller though.
No, my head thin. My head thin.
Oh, this is a custom headset that he has on. You know,
I got it.
And not for gas, just
No, this is the one for guests. It's like
He's a
sound
big
blocking and
Swati,
stuff. I wasn't expecting like next time we had to like a vernier caliper and just like on the guest head
or something.
No, we got a big head because we
I did.
it was
We
fake.
talked about this already. Yeah.
It was that was my fault.
Yeah, so I mean, she has a lot to say about Carnival.
Yeah,
right.
could we-
but
we
that
go-
wasn't what we were talking about today.
No,
right?
no, 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 no,
Right.
no, no.
Could
We started with
introduce her?
Carnival, right? So, she's going to introduce herself.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, she starts with Carnival. But this was just me doing some due diligence and investigating our guests. You know, so we have something to talk about. Introduce yourself. Tell them in whatever short way you want to. You don't have to give us the whole, autobiography, but you can
You
just
don't
tell
want
them.
my CV.
If you wanna
If you want, you can give them
No,
it.
I get. By profession, I'm an attorney.
Uh-oh.
But I'm more into, besides that, like social issues. I talk a lot about women's issues, social issues.
feminist.
We had a conversation as well as to why I'm not a feminist.
Oh.
I'm not. There was a time I hosted a women's show that I'm trying to get back on.
Okay. This woman show. Basically, what was it? I'm going to bring some context to why I'm asking these questions,
Sure.
right? You are the absolute first woman who explains thoroughly the reason why you're against this entitled state of feminism, right? And we've had females on the show before, but they've never been able to quite adequately address why we are in a state where women tend to want the cake and eat, have
Yeah.
the cake and eat it too. So this is why she's here. I mean, she almost make me, tear up. but-
Yeah. So yeah, keep going.
No, I was just
She's
saying
won me.
that
She's won me already.
Sometimes people will describe me as a feminist, but I don't consider myself a feminist. And I know, there's deep
Hefty
political meaning, and there's different types of feminists and all that. But at the same time, I feel like now feminism goes under wanting, and this is a real loose statement, wanting all the rights but without accountability. And that's my issue with being called a feminist, because I think as women, yes, okay, we want certain things and we want equality. And honestly, being a woman real harder. I mean, hard in the workplace, hard outside there, whatever, right? I mean, being a man obviously has its challenges too, but from our perspective, things hard. So you need that kind of fighting for equality, fighting for your rights, whatever, as a woman. But at the same time, people push it to the point of, yes, okay, you're a woman, you should be able to do whatever you want, and there's zero accountability for your actions. And that's what my issue is with the whole term feminism.
I gonna get you off your kilter today because I gonna be saying stuff, to be honest with you, and you gonna think I serious and I gonna be sarcastic, but I gonna say it with a straight face. I give you a warning.
That's fine.
And you're gonna be like, he really believes this? I was like,
No, that's not me.
and I'm just effing with
Nah,
you the entire
can't-
time. Yeah, sure.
You can't get under my skin.
Nice.
Oh.
Well, all right.
Challenge accepted, right?
Accepted.
No.
I actually like the fact that this is an even keel woman. I've seen guests, this is me being real candid here. I've seen guests come on the show and they hear him speak and they be like,
Not giving any warning. I giving any warning.
So they get scared?
no, it's more when people say what they want to say, people will be like, you actually said that?
Oh no, that's who I am as a person.
We didn't do the name introduction. We keep going. Go.
Oh right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Actually, didn't even say my name.
That's fine. That's
Yeah,
fine.
Jesus
That
Christ.
was my purpose, though.
But I mean,
like-
people also
we
take
like-
themselves too seriously sometimes. So
Right.
like, do you really need to know who I am? Fine. My name is Kandace Barath, and everything that came before was
Kandace Nahus.
Kandace Barath.
I can know this girl.
You know what?
I can know that last name.
Which last name?
We're not both, as a matter of fact. Damn. Oh,
So, again,
okay.
she's introduced herself.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is one of our guests who's not really
But the actual
she doesn't
name.
take herself too seriously, guys. But the message is quite impactful. You know,
Thank you.
no, yeah, it's an impactful message. You know, we're not trying to be too irresponsible, as we always say. This is not a red pill podcast.
Yeah.
Right? This is not a podcast to bash women, bash men. We want people who actually have an educated, even keel point of view to come forward and say, hey, why are we behaving so silly when we could actually do X or Y?
Yeah.
You know, so you consider
Nicole?
yourself
Okay.
a moderate person, a traditional person, somebody with traditional values that you try to espouse.
What I'm asking, what I want to ask is, are you the trad Indian girl or the modern day Indian girl that trying to be like Keisha?
Who's Keisha?
Okay.
I don't even
Backstory.
understand that
Backstory.
whole
Yeah.
that whole
So, yeah.
description. Like, what is
Okay.
even that?
So I was
Keisha,
I was
yes.
recently on back on one of them dating apps.
Oh,
I
how
did-
that work out for
no, yo, this was 4:00 in the morning. 4:00 in the morning, I get a match 4:00 in the morning. Indian girl with blonde hair.
Right.
With a tattoo. So I thinking, country, there's gonna be a good day.
you? Right.
Real country thing. So I talking to him. And then I realize I have the whole thing. You know, Trump had the statement, make America great again. I'm trying to make Indian girls great again, to be honest with you. Because I find they start listening to too much Trinidad or something like that. And they start getting like black girls. And I think we need to separate the... When you had an Indian girl back in the day, it was like, yeah. Because, you know, most of the times you grew up with...
You had anything girl back in the day?
back when it was unfashionable, yeah.
All right, good.
I mean...
It was ever unfashionable.
It
to
was...
have an Indian girl.
No, it was... No, it like interracial, other than...
All right, yeah.
I'll go other than like Pornhub. But it was like a thing. Yeah, she smiled.
Why
she
you
smiled.
just... No, I'm just like, why are you
smiled. She was
gesturing
just like-
to me? I didn't even mean that.
She,
Yeah,
Pornhub.
go ahead. Listen
Wait,
to
no,
it.
hold on. There's a button for that.
Hey, listen. Every time we play this song, we need $5 for the Patreon.
Wait,
That's
now,
what we say.
you know what song that?
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know.
But you asked me a question.
Yeah.
If I was traditional.
Yeah, like,
And I think I'm like a mixture of both. So like, I think sometimes tradition is, again, one of our downfalls. But at the same time, I think like sometimes you kind of need to maintain tradition with certain things.
Right.
So I think like I'm a mix, you know, like, because I mean, one of the things that I do is, you know, I speak a lot about, for want of a better term, some of the bullshit in society that we have been fed. I mean, even just like from a woman's perspective, you know. And honestly, I mean, not to be a downer, but one of the reasons why I'm so vocal is that I'm a domestic violence survivor. So I was in a domestic violence relationship like 10 years ago. And I think I was very quiet at that point. I actually used to be like very shy, very
Right.
conservative, very quiet person. And coming out of that, and about like, I think really just 4 years ago, I actually came out with my story. Really more out of necessity. It was a very uncomfortable place to be at the time. But I felt like, you know, we need to start speaking about things that traditionally we haven't been speaking about and things that are important. And at the time I was doing that, I mean, now a lot of people doing it, but like at the time that I did it, it was huge. And being an attorney, I didn't expect the whole thing to go viral, but it really did. But it also made me realize like how much of tradition is bullshit. You know, because up to like last year, I bounced up a lady in a doctor's office and she knew about the article and stuff, and because it was an article in Guardian. And she was like, but you know, we're not supposed to talk about these things. Okay. And literally, those are exactly the types of people that I have no respect for, because we hide behind the whole, we're not supposed to talk about this, we're not supposed to talk about that. I think that's one of the reasons why society is where it is, because we don't talk about things. We just accept things as the way that we've always known them to be. And I mean, that's why I guess even your podcast is a great thing, because we need to start, analyzing things.
Thank you for saying
You're
that.
welcome.
Yeah.
First woman ever. Good stuff.
But we need to start analyzing things and seeing like what makes sense and what doesn't, and having even just difficult conversations. And that was one of the things that I did on my show. Not that I'm putting in a shameless plug for it.
Shameless plug.
Everything woman, guys.
Everything.
Everything woman.
Plug it. Yeah, plug it.
But I'm gonna start back soon. I just working up some final details. But the thing is, like, I spoke about things like rape. I did a episode with a guy who actually was a victim of incest when he was a child.
Right.
Well, I don't think it was incest. It was actually just rape, but he was a child.
Because it was a
boy.
parent or
It
someone.
wasn't a parent. That's why I said it's not really wasn't incest. It was just somebody unrelated to him.
Okay.
And because yes, it's everything woman, but it also focuses on having conversations about guys and why guys are the way they are, because where we put so much emphasis on men are this, men are that, men are the next. LinkedIn.
Right.
Hey, she's a professional.
No, she's a professional. Yeah, good.
Like, we blame men for so many things, but we don't actually ask the questions as to why men are the way they are and why we've created a society. I mean, we were talking about the rape culture earlier.
Right.
Why it is, and that's why I looked at what Carnival does to little boys, because we want to see, like, a 16-year-old or 18-year-old boy who has this certain idea in his head, but at the same time, like, where did that even come from? Like, what in his childhood or his background or his upbringing made him start thinking the way he does? And that's a
Real
question we don't ask.
examples.
We want to hold men accountable for things that sometimes, I mean, yes, okay, I believe as adults, you're an adult.
Accountability, yeah.
Accountability, yeah. Don't tell me what happened when you were a child or your parents break up or whatever, right? Get over it. Life is hard. Shit happens to all of us.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we really do have to look at what we're doing to produce the type of men we're producing, and with the effect of, like, how it impacts on society and how it impacts on women. And we have to start asking those questions. So, like, I mean, I feel like men also need to be involved in the conversation. And that's something we don't do. We blame men, but we don't look at why they are the way they are.
Yeah, I think we are pitted against each other. So there's a reason why they separate and conquer. Divide and rule is the name of the game. If families start coming back into the equation, meaning that men and women agree that we need each other, then
A structure.
then children will be able to be outside whining on adults.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
That's what's going on for Carnival.
boy. It's a
You didn't see the video?
No.
Yeah. Like,
Wouldn't this be illegal if it's a walking on video? First time.
if it was a little girl
First
that a
time.
man
Exactly.
was whining on, then of course you'd have been behind bars. But obviously,
No,
it's
I
the other way around.
think Child
it's a-
Protective Agency did something.
Okay,
It was
great. Good on them.
it was a big woman when
What's your video? What's your video? You
great.
see? Yeah, there's evidence.
Still makes me cringe.
small man having real thing, boy.
Small
Hey,
man
watch
like
waist,
this.
watch waist, watch it. Yes, but watch.
So you think something fundamentally wrong
Wait,
with
no.
that video?
Yeah.
When
something
I
wrong
so
with it.
who the
No, Tanti put them away. Tanti is
no,
like
who's Tanti? Tanti's the
a
go.
security in the band, apparently.
No, but
Tanti's the
why? No, this is okay. Let me
Tanti's
explain
the goat in
something
this
to you
video.
about this video, right? So I remember when daggering now came into thing, and this going to be
That's
related
actually the
to
word that I used to describe that.
yeah, daggering, right? No, it's just daggering now, just strict daggering.
Oh, for backstory, this is a video of
Young-
this child looks nothing more than 12 years old.
Nah,
Nah,
he
he's
is
like
7
yeah.
years
All
old.
right, so he's a child under 10 years old.
Yeah,
Who
he
is vigorously
daggering.
adult woman.
The little oh crap, I can't say that she here. Well, you know what word I want to use. You know what word it starts with N and ends with T.
Say it.
Niglet.
Yeah.
The little niglet.
Right, good.
Hey, can't say that word. I just know that. Here.
I know.
Okay.
I know.
This little
So
this little
about the
niglet
little
was in
niglet,
was in Tim's. Is in Tim's. You know you get in the
Oh,
barrel.
in Tim's?
Oh, gosh.
Oh, I didn't even reach
No,
that.
no, yes, how what she was.
It's a uniform.
Is a kid. That means he get in a barrel. So he's most likely a barrel baby. And bent over, a girl in a monokini, and let me see if the girl is smiling. Yeah, she's smiling
No,
and
she's
looking
having
back.
a great time.
She's wearing
It's
a
not even just a
bra.
monokini, it's a tongue.
Yeah, a tongue's monokini, and best part is she is not wearing a bra, or is she wearing any stockings?
We don't know.
Probably not.
You've not seen stockings. So I've seen it's
I really couldn't look at that.
So this is the part that I think you did not analyze is that.
Yeah, no. And that's the thing. Like, I mean, obviously he knows something. He knows what to do.
No. I'm not talking about, because prior, this is a very recent development.
Oh.
And this come from porn.
Okay.
Oh, no. But
You know what I'm talking about? The cross and shit.
In each child's defense, big men, he emulating somebody.
He see that.
Because prior, everybody, that's wholly wasted that cross
the cross hand. A big man saw that in porn.
Yes, that is a porn move.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
I mean, there's a detail.
I mean, who knows what he's
No, let me say, okay, is he looking down? Okay, he's not looking down. That means he don't really know what he's doing. He's just doing something.
Emulating.
If he was looking down at it, then...
He just emulating. So back to your point, you know.
Yeah. But the sad part about that is that, and it's exactly what you said. Like, if it was a girl, you know, that's it. Everything break loose, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, one of our huge problems is that we sexualize little boys. And
say that again for the people in the back.
We sexualize little boys because apparently men, once you're male, that's what you're made for. You're made for sex. So big hardback women will literally be with 12-year-old, 14-year-old little boys.
Oh, yes.
But and people don't think anything is wrong with that. You know, people literally, the kind of outcry you would have if it was in the reverse. People, and you know, you would talk to a fella and be like, yeah, my first girlfriend was like 20 years old and I was like 13, 14 years old and whatever. And I was having a conversation with a guy a couple of years ago. And I was like, you do know, because he's like my age now, so like 30s. Yeah. And I was like, you do know that was wrong though. You know that was rape, right? Yeah. And he was in a proper relationship.
She was buying him stuff though.
I mean she's a sugar mommy.
That's all I'm because that's what he was concerned.
I mean,
no, but a grown-ass woman who have all the morals, all the values, who go to church every Sunday or whatever,
is the ones doing it.
Think that these things are okay because it is a boy and is a man and
or your mother friend pulling your towel and saying, hey, let me see the woodpecker.
Oh gosh, man. Because the worst part about that is she didn't pull the girl. Why you pull the like you didn't do nothing to the girl? It was just like, what the hell are you doing? I tell you, sit down next to me. He looking like a Kareem.
No, he look like
a Jamal.
He look like a Jamak.
A Jamal or something.
Miserable neglect names. The ones that you say, oh gosh, put him in the front of the class, because if you put him in the back,
you'll cause too much trouble. Don't sit down next to you. Let's sit next to you.
You come.
Government school going.
Come Jamak.
Stereotypes are fun.
But then thinking forward, this has happened. How is he going to relate to little girls his age?
Oh no, little girls his age.
They have just created a little predator.
Little girls his age doing that, I'm telling you.
No, I know. I hear that, and I was really like, I'm in denial as to what is happening in primary schools.
I have a friend who's a teacher. Well, this is in his States, because his States is like accelerated what having sex is at this point. He said a little girl got caught in a gangbang. She's 8 and them is 9. Like a group of fellas, 9 years old. Like so one.
Yeah, this is why my kids get in homeschool when I have children.
So like. So at 8. So I take it to myself. I remember when I was like, let's see, like I was a child because it was a child thing. I remember the song that was like the thing. It was Shaggy. That song is Mr. Boombastic.
Yeah.
And I remember these little. No, I wasn't even 8. This was long after that. So I was like 15. I just remember it had 8-year-old girls in the skimpy clothes. And I just stayed down here because it was my little cousin's birthday. So I was there. That's why it had like whatever. So I was like, why them little 8-year-old girls flexing for? But like sensually flexing. It's like, who teach you that shit?
I mean, I feel like that level of flexing at that point is real different. Like what you will see 8-year-old girls doing now is nothing like what you saw 8-year-old girls doing 20 years ago.
Are they bending over and letting that coochie breed? You know that song?
No,
but that's a song.
I was on social media some day ago and I saw something that made a lot of sense. When a society is about to be destroyed, the first thing that they do is take God out of the equation. All right, so our schools don't really push God.
Yeah.
For that matter, the next thing they do is they have sexual liberation among women.
Right.
The reason for that sexual liberation is basically to demotivate men and weaken our society. You understand? So
right, I know this guy. You're right. Okay. That's the guy. That's karate guy.
Karate firearms.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay. Oh, that's okay.
Go tell them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So
Funny.
we are on our way to a destroyed society. That's
Yeah.
why it will get worse, but I think everything happens in cycles. What happened with the feminist movement is that women were pushed so far to the opposite side that they started to create values and norms that are now being evolved today.
Right.
To where I could do whatever the hell I want to do with my body because 50 years ago, I was going to get slapped if I walk out the house without a bra on. So it's like we always overshoot until we find the happy medium.
What about?
Well, that sounds really optimistic.
Hopefully.
Okay, but prior to that, it's not just the abuse. It would have been because if you get a chance, watch Blue Eye Samurai on Netflix because it's give like a nice little historical thing. I mean, it's a fictitious story going and telling you what was going on in Japan. And anyway, so at one point in time, because this is way before 1950s, let me say 1700s, 1500s, 1600s. Feudal Japan, or let me say India. Well, Africa, you was getting put in slavery, so it don't matter. But you from a poor family, some rich man or some man with means could come. Here's the scene. I just want to buy your daughter.
Oh, transactional marriage.
No. Whoa. You from a poor family, so there's no marriage involved in this.
Okay.
You are getting sold into the whorehouse.
Okay.
A concubine.
Whore. You are being sold into the house, and that was just perfectly normal. So on the one hand, that's what she was talking about in terms of traditional. You're getting it full extreme where, we kind of overbull the cow in terms of what we was doing. Yeah. And then on the other hand, no, without the tradition, no, we let, I say the women will run wild.
All right.
So there's like, we was oppressing all that, cool. Go and do what you want to do. And they just come back full circle. Bojack Horseman, one of the funniest. If you remember the line that Filipino, but Vietnamese girl said, she said, do you think that feminism is a lie that we taught ourselves so we could more cater to the male gaze? And I was like,
mind blown.
Yeah, this is
this is carnival.
That is carnival. Yeah. Because I want to know the less clothes you have on. I'm not allowed to whine on you because this is what's going on now. So
you're not allowed to whine on me unless I let you whine on me.
No, or unless you come and whine on me and I have to take it.
Yeah.
So then is that empowerment?
You see, the thing is, Shense has a song, right? Shense has a new song called I'll give you some backstory because I don't really know the name of the song. It's Hit and Run is the name of the song.
Jesus Christ. Right? I'm don't think it's about vehicular.
No, there's no accident happening here, right?
Okay.
Well, I mean, however you want to take it.
I've seen people posting about it, but I didn't feel like listening to it.
But the irony is, you are saying you gave a man sex and you pulled away, right? But all men want is sex. So
he got what he wanted.
But you still feel like you are the one who had the one up in the situation.
Yeah, and that's because obviously one, that she's going behind low-hanging fruit. People she really not attractive to. There's no substance in it. That's one. All right? And people hearing that will try to practice that with men and realize that it's a law of diminishing returns because you go with more and more men and realize, wait, it's lower and lower quality people you're qualifying for. So that Hit and Run song is just the same as I can whine on you, but only if you want to. You can't touch me.
Although I'm not going to say it's a good or bad song, because next thing I should see I want to come on the show and then talk. And then
it's talk and explain the song and say why it's empowering
and let
or
me
whatever.
I probably,
help us understand how it's a powerful thing.
10-year resignation, 10-year trying to make a step up out of us.
But that's the problem with this whole woke culture.
Yeah.
Because being this whole, I wouldn't even say value systems, but the thinking and the belief that they subscribe to being woke is ridiculous sometimes. And you wanna make it look like, oh well, and it ties into the whole feminism thing. Because it's like, oh yeah, I could do whatever I want, whatever I woke, and really and truly you're just on shit though.
It's an empty existence.
It's vacuous. Because on the flip side, it's kind of like our church people is just be churchy, but they're worse than most people.
Yeah.
And they just use this shit to justify their
But it's
shit.
like ego. It's an ego thing. It's
yeah.
like, I go to church, so I am like this pious person, and
You're a piece of
therefore
shit.
I could do the worst, because some of the worst people are the people who go to church every Sunday.
But you touch on a point. You say your children will be homeschooled. Right?
That was kind of a joke.
Okay, good.
I
Because-
kind of.
She carrying them in a government school, but
no, because
government.
you're going to homeschool them and then they have to go into the world.
Into society,
With
they
these-
need to be prepared.
And trust me, these children, they are very much advanced. I can tell you, like, I'll give you a little bit of insight. The children from the downtown areas and the little bit more populated urban areas,
urban.
they are unfortunately exposed to the worst of the worst.
At a
and-
young age.
Yeah, so we might watch little Jamal and no, that was a racist name. Sorry.
Yeah, if you laugh at it, it sounds bad. You can't laugh at it. Straight in your face, damn it.
We might look at little Jamal and say, how we turn out to be such a monster? But I don't think it's Jamal's parents' fault per se. Wait, not
why saying parents for like there's two of them? Say
more
parent,
than,
please.
More than likely.
Parent?
No, but you see, the satire is that more than likely it's a single family whom he comes
Yeah.
from. More than likely the mother has gone through significant trauma just to survive in this dogged world. So she's dealing with pressure from just being in this environment. He's a byproduct of the environment.
Yeah.
When you look at them in mass, you see the level of ignorant, illiterate behavior that happens, and you will say, distance yourself from them. But as somebody who has something to say, I think that we as a whole could help the situation, Yeah? But it is not our culture. Our culture is to buy a ticket or go in a fet and sap and show people
I could afford here.
I see boss, But if we boycott, if we literally start taking action versus, I was sitting down the other day and thinking, if all KFC workers actually stayed home for a week to protest some issue that they have in their immediate lives, we will have, that would be an impactful.
It'll shut down the country.
Yeah, that would be an
If shut down
impactful
the KFC workers.
KFC
You don't
workers.
see the uproar when you have to pay for your ketchup?
Yeah, so imagine.
Can I people get? I not
At some
KFC.
point.
I not KFC.
Imagine
neither.
KFC workers stay home from KFC across Trinidad and
That
Tobago.
would only affect people at the lower class.
But hear me out. When you see 1 day, 2 day, 3 days productivity dropping as a employer, what are you gonna do? You're gonna start a lobby for your people interest. If a trade union picks up this plight and say, you know what, we will support the KFC workers, and then as the cumulative action has changed our community. We sitting down here, people gonna be like, yeah, they talk sense, but
Yeah.
That requires.
I had to take a
action.
taxi in the morning to go and
I
have a
can't-
passage and
And on top of that, I pay rent, so I can't
yeah,
do KFC.
I can't dock KFC.
No, but I
so-
mean, look at we've lost 2 kids. One was Friday and one was Saturday or Thursday and Friday. The two kids that were killed in separate incidents.
the shootout in PT Valley and
Nothing happened.
Yeah.
Nothing happened.
Wow.
Nobody protests. All the good boys who normally would have protest if you're a gang member, you ever
Yeah.
none of that. Crickets.
yeah. But you go in their community and bounce on a woman by mistake now. You see what's gonna happen to you. Okay? You cannot live in there on tires, I think, So I just saying there's a unnecessary amount of misunderstanding and hate between the classes. Trinidad is not really a racist country. I'll always say we
Yeah.
classes. And the misunderstanding in between the classes is drive us apart. And when you're driven apart, the country is really in a worse off position for it, So the hee-haw, we point a finger at society, we tell them, hey, look at the stupidness you're doing. But we also have a mirror effect. So we can't absent ourselves from the equation. We're part of the equation too, So in any little way, this is how we try to help. I said, was a youth man named Jamal? I really have a strong, I think young men.
You could have been a gym.
Like, that's exactly what I'm saying, I think young men, to your point, have been ignored for so long. Based on the fact that if we could treat them like how they treat aggressive dogs, they could be dangerous, put them in a corner and leave them there, right? And treat the non-aggressive dogs with positive reinforcement.
But I mean, that's the whole toxic masculinity thing, because we teach men, and I actually had a show on toxic masculinity where I had a guy who used to be in prison who came out and who does like a lot of TikTok videos and stuff, raising awareness and stuff.
There's not Trinidad killer, right?
No.
Okay.
Trinidad Killer wasn't in prison.
Yes, he was.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Wow.
And two other guys, and one was a tall brown skin guy, one was an Indian guy, and then we had this other guy who was in jail. And they were talking about the dynamics. And actually, the guy who was in jail was actually Indian, and
He get raped. Sorry.
Well, no, okay.
Get raped.
Anyway, but the whole point of it is that we were talking about the way literally society and your environment treats you as a boy, because we act like anger is not an emotion. You tell men that you can't feel anything, you're not supposed to cry. The whole typical toxic parenting of what you're crying for, I'll give you something to cry for.
Yeah.
Shut up, or I'll give you something to cry for.
I know it all too well.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Just know. This is not a flow yet.
He doesn't have tear ducts.
Yeah.
He doesn't know. I've never seen them.
And they thought too well.
But,
Thought too well.
with one thing I would say, between the two, let me say African or Indians, they handle, I want to say, amongst the men, they handle, I guess, homosexuality different in terms of, because who was getting touched as a child, you see now how it used to be is, we understand that at some point in the Indian line, you're going to have two men whining. But
I was just in some of the Ralph Farrow chutney videos.
No.
Whoa.
Are you talking? You think you talk, girl? I grew up in the city.
So
Don't watch hair texture.
So you're bound to see two Indian
as
uncles.
opposed to with the next.
I've seen it in videos.
No.
Have you ever seen this in real life?
I've seen it. So where is this
You
like?
just see the tanty on the ground whining down.
So then, with in the black community now, it gets so it's so everything gay. Everything your pants tight gay. Your pants gay.
But then why is it acceptable for your pants to be full of your ass?
That's jail culture.
No, but even outside of, obviously that's jail culture, but you still see it with African young boys often.
They aspire to be like the heroes.
To be in prison.
Yeah, you remember in the Eastern Europe community, the heroes they would be the electricians, the mechanics, people who actually build business. They built businesses, and young boys will have some kind of example to go towards. In this environment, the people who actually make that type of money is the ones who sell any drugs, shooting. I never see a rich gunman, but
I know the prison system.
Yeah,
so it's gunman culture.
That's the example.
Yeah.
So when they see that pants sag, when their hero come back out of jail and his pants sagging.
You can think about it. He didn't go to school. And this man drive a nice car.
Yeah. And then he big boss.
100,000 thing, yeah, cash, yeah, gills.
The boss come out of jail and he living better than my mother and father or my mother or my father.
And my mother working hard all day.
Yeah. So that's
And
the
then
example.
also like the disrespect, because you would pick up a fella from on the corner and say, and this is like an actual story somebody told me, and say, hey, hear what? I given Trey earlier a walk, right? So come Chagaramas, start to help me with the boots and thing. Your salary.
You calling certain
your
things
salary
now?
would raise after 2 weeks kind of thing, but you're getting a 300 while you're there, right? You and your partner's getting 300 each. And after the first day, the fellas went back on the block, and the fella who linked them with the job was like, "What's going on?" While they say, "Hey, taking advantage." This years ago when $300 was
plenty money.
Was a lot more.
300 days still plenty money.
Right,
Yeah.
but it was a lot
Really?
more because this is about, let's just say, almost 10 years ago, right?
That's a while, yeah.
Or 15 years ago, something like that. But like the thing is, and they on the block because they say, nah, that man taking advantage of me, whatever. So you prefer sit down there, and I mean, obviously, general statement, right? But you prefer sit down there and sell drugs. Who knows if you're making more? I don't know. Rather than working for your 300, that's going to increase once you pass your little 2-week period. You might get $500 a day.
Yeah, but it's less work. I mean, we're really on the block. We're really on a real grind on the block. Or you just had to be there. Be
That's
present.
my problem, the PNM.
Oh God.
That's my problem. I say it jokingly, right? Because you gotta be delusional, right?
You gonna make me not be able to get this man on the show, you know? Like, you gotta stop talking about this friggin' bally.
I mean,
I am neutral.
I am not addressing any one politician. I'm addressing a political party, right? That has a narrative in the... You gotta be delusional to think that our politics are run on race.
It does.
We tribal politicians.
Absolutely.
Right? Politics.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
You will have
you
people-
ascended past, like, voting?
I don't besides NTA. Ooh, NTA.
What's NTA?
My husband and NTA. So, this Gary's party.
Okay, all right. That's
But
very different. Hey.
besides,
Gary, how about?
Gary, have a party.
What?
how do you have a podcast and not know this and went through a
Gary
whole
was-
election?
Gary
I don't vote.
He was
Like,
campaigning for local government elections just the other day.
Yeah, last year.
Like it's our religion. It was a religious thing with me. I don't
But
vote.
I will tell you honestly, let's just say out of the two major parties, I have always felt very disillusioned. Honestly, I might vote genuinely for voting's sake. And I mean, people just say less of both evils. Less of both evils come down to race.
Right.
People will always say less of both evils, but literally, when they say that, is race.
Yeah,
Because
right.
then in their head, they justify it, whatever, based on their prejudice. And I mean, I was having this conversation with a guy
Wow.
who I used to argue with a lot until we block each other on Facebook.
Wow.
And
That sounds toxic.
His
Yeah,
brother
toxic, yeah.
his brother's a minister.
Okay.
And you
I know
know,
what you're
he
talking
said something that actually really stuck with me. And he was like, everybody has a prejudice. Because my thing was like, well, you just doing this because like I'm buttering your bread. But like at the end of the day, everybody has a bias, you know, whether it's an experience, whether it is a race thing, you know, because I mean fundamentally, unfortunately, that's what the narrative has always been.
Yeah.
And sadly, we still get reduced to that. You know, we don't have enough right-thinking people
Yeah.
to break that whole... I mean, you want to talk tradition? That's friggin' tradition.
Yeah,
You know?
That's a tradition for money.
We have a very low average IQ in this
Yeah,
country.
that's a downright
Apparently.
tradition.
But I mean, when you look at how people vote, I mean, yeah, that's the IQ right there.
Yeah, for sure.
But nothing other than that. Oh, well, then again, it's kind of being the same thing in the States too. Because I mean, the only reason Obama really win.
Because he was black.
Yeah.
Ah,
We on that whole
good.
thing,
So
like-
so knowing what we know about tribal politics, knowing that this is our modus operandi when it comes to picking a leader, right? Or a group of leaders. When the divide happens, it happens at the head, it cracks at the head, pause. Right? That's a
you know,
inside joke.
you know, pauses.
We need to enlighten you on what
Jeez,
pause
boy.
means.
How old are you? God
No,
damn.
she don't be on social media.
No, but
I
like,
am on social media. I'm 37.
All right. Wow.
You don't know
didn't
pause
even,
it?
she didn't buck at that. All
No,
right, cool.
after that, like, again, against that whole tradition
Yeah,
of
yeah.
ageism, and I'm supposed to feel bad because
Yeah.
I'm, like, you know, over the hill and
hey,
whatnot.
hey.
The answer, people be like, you don't ask a woman. her
No,
age."
believe that. Why? Because we teach our women that you have to feel bad about yourself as you get older, and society treats you as less desirable as
You're
you get
gonna get
older.
older anyway.
Everybody getting older is a blessing. So like, nah, I
As you can
refuse
see,
to.
37, the hair is still good. No, yeah, call Patreon now. Convince her to cut it off.
she's
so I can-
married, though.
No. Forget about that. I'll convince her to cut somebody hair off and some other girls could, you know, get a little lace front and thing done.
Oh,
Yeah, like it would be.
what
No,
is
that
this?
was a.
No, I mean, let's shine
Wait.
it. Hey, yo, it's shining. I don't even she put any kind of additive and thing in it. Don't
You
worry.
want to say oil, you know?
I was going to say oil. I was going to say no. I was going
Oil.
no for a brief second. I was going like, oh. It's like, oh.
It's fine. Listen, I've realized your racist ways already. I tell you can't offend me.
I love it.
I have been. Was he what?
Pull back on your
Yeah, she's like,
you was
no.
trying this one? Pull it back in.
Let's stop the hilt. Pause.
All right, cool. Yeah, so we vote based on tribal politics,
Yeah.
and then the divide starts at the head. The issues that we face, like you say, you can understand why they would leave a good paying job or potentially good paying job to go and sit on the block. You can't fathom it, right? And that is because there's a divide in cultures. Culturally, it started when we first arrived in this country.
Have you ever seen somebody like litter in their own space? Like I'm talking about you in your front yard, you're drinking a
just
penny
chilling.
cool back in the street, and have you ever seen that?
You can't fathom that.
That's not a cultural thing for you because you watching. Nah, but it's my land.
I don't even understand how people get litter. But
No, but like specifically
But in
in
your space, no.
Okay. So for that's crazy. And then how blacks would know watch Spanish now. Spanish would be in their own kitchen and spit in the kitchen.
Oh, that's a Latin America.
No, but you understand what I'm saying? How we watching their that was like, how the hell you do that? You watching the compound litterers, I guess that's what you call them.
Yeah.
And then it crazy as opposed to
Because when you see a slum, a slum is made up of these people's waste that they then dispose of properly, and it's your waste body. However, they don't have the right infrastructure, the storage, whatever.
Or they're just lazy to just walk by the corner and throw it in anything.
But inherently, you could find a way to clean your place up. They don't. I mean, I don't like to say the they and we because humans have a way we like to order other things.
Yeah.
Click and categorize.
Yeah. And it's really not that. At the end of the day, I am a Trinidadian. Hands down, right? But the point is, I am severely disillusioned with what happens in this country. Like, this country we could do so much better because of the fact that we've had booms before. We've made some very sensible investments, by the way, that the masses are not aware of, as a country.
Okay, did the country benefit, actually? Or the people who...
The country benefited, but then there was access to bureaucracy, access to red tape, access to corruption, the benefits. So when you see people actually living well off from the government, you be like, well, why that can't trickle out? And we just have this cycle. It is downright depressing. Because you come on the podcast, we talk, we say, you know what? At least people like you exist. But then you walk outside and you see people spitting on the side of the road, peeing, throwing garbage out the car. It's just a lawlessness.
A breakdown. Yeah. We are a lawless society.
And you see the one thing that you have that you're true, and not bad. But then when you see the trying to do the amalgamated.
Yeah.
When you see the amalgamation of waste by the what's called the drainage points. No, and then you're causing.
You realize everything adds up.
And then you're causing why it have floods. Every year.
So is the serpent that ate its tail. We are in a paradox.
The Ouroboros.
Yeah. It's a paradox. Yeah. We live in a situation where we try to help, and then the intention to help turns into a helpful situation. We just end up back in square one. I'm sure there are like proper people who play carnival. Good people. Wholesome people, and it's the same issue I have with good wholesome women. Stand up against the people who's be doing the
what's wholesome carnival to you is bending over and jamming a random
carnival.
Carnival can never be good.
No, I understand. I agree.
I like that.
100%.
I like that because that was my rant.
100% I agree with both you guys.
Why you say it can't be good?
I want him to finish his point.
Yeah, 100%, right? But here's the thing. Carnival was made out of a necessity. Well, as we know, it was out of necessity. It was out of the slaves and them needing to find a code to operate and do the little rebellions and do whatever they had to do to survive. It was about freedom. The second that we lost sight of what that freedom meant, because I think we're more shackled mentally now than the slaves as a people. We're more mentally shackled. We're more enslaved than the people who actually came up with a system of, hey, let me find a way to sing and dance and send a message to free our people.
And who still wanted better for themselves.
Yeah,
and that's the problem, because we are a society of mediocrity. And not even
It's
mediocrity.
Is your best friend?
Less than mediocre. We accept things that are unacceptable. Yeah. And we normalize it, and that's why even the political situation will not change, because it'll end up being, same shit different days, if at all. Because at the end of the day, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to do better. We are just so okay with things just being garbage all the time. Nothing works. Every system is absolute shit. And it's normal. And if you get somebody who helping you out, and if you get somebody who is helpful and friendly and do their job in a timely fashion, you post it on Facebook, because we're not accustomed to that. Even if you go somewhere and you get good customer service, you're posting it because you're like, wow, look at this person, when that's their job.
I thought I was getting pranked, when
people actually be nice.
It's like, okay, something going on.
Was it catch?
It was a catch, yeah.
No, but you're right, absolutely right. And we do have a place, except when he or show, to come out and explain. And well, of course, was he plugged? The
Everything Woman.
And of course, Everything Woman. That's
But I don't go into politics and Everything Woman.
Oh, no, yeah.
At all.
That's
I
fine.
talk about society, but for me, because
Bitches
politics
is
is so divisive,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I want a
Gotta be
message. Like, you know,
careful.
people was like, oh, you have to say this about PNM and the government, da, da, da. No. Like,
No.
that's...
So I mean, you've most likely been approached by a party. It don't matter which one.
Over
But
the years, I've been approached by all of them.
to be like, yo, we'll say this against this person, say this.
No. I've been approached to join, but I have never been asked to say something. My views are my views. Nobody could buy that shit.
So I get when I get approached, it was the blog against our next part. I get me and Move end up getting catch. Move end up getting catch. He never get caught up in there.
Sabotage.
So like just go on the internet, make like fake profiles, and like let's troll.
Yeah.
Go read news articles.
Yeah.
Like pro whoever.
Up to today, I block a fella because I saw, he didn't comment on my thing, but like something, and he was telling somebody, I don't know if you all saw this video. Is this video with like this lady who was comparing, like she's in the States, probably from Trinidad, but she's comparing Trinidad to the US.
Oh, I scroll on that, yeah.
And she was like talking about Pennywise, but then she's talking about like how much better Pennywise is to Walmart, but then Walmart is not even like a cosmetics place, so you obviously just get the basics.
Yeah.
So like, and the fact that, we have water tanks, but in the States, unless in the boondocks, you don't have water tanks. But like, it's
not the
because...
cartoon boondocks, guys.
It's
not the cartoon boondocks.
My
You know
husband
boondocks?
loves boondocks, and I cannot.
Says the N-word. I sense in the N-word come anyway.
But you know, I mean, the fact is that we have tanks because we don't get water for weeks.
I mean, it's a
so
necessity.
like, you need tanks. But anyway, so then like somebody was like, well, no, that's not making sense, whatever, and like dissecting it. And this guy who's obviously a fake profile was like, well, then leave the country. Well, then move. Why are you in this country? Whatever. Like, so typical political troll. And it started as what the narrative is, because it's like you want better. And like, to me, you could be a PNM supporter theoretically and still love your country,
Of course.
but you have to be able to say, look, this is the problems that we have, and that's my problem. Like this blind loyalty thing, where, because you know, people will not remember this, but I used to say real things about the UNC when they were in power. And the thing is, I was tactless. I actually was
them ain't calling
very
you back.
inelegant as in the way I used to say things. I read back like some of my old statuses now, and I was like, oh, Kandace, you know, you could have said this in a better way. But the fact is, like, even if you support any party, you could still say this is not right. You want better for your country. There has to be some kind of accountability, but you can't start to say that.
My thing with the politics thing is that I've never really heard a reason to vote for a party except don't vote
Vote
for
for the
them.
next one.
Don't vote for them.
Yeah.
Lesser for all evils.
Yeah.
There's never, it's literally never be like, okay, this is what we plan. Except one of the stupidest things I've ever heard ever is when Kamala talked that $75,000 job thing. I was like 75. Who you want to create these jobs?
Anti-comes just now.
She said she want to give 75,000
months.
jobs.
Yeah.
So I started to sit down. So you gonna create?
GDP, crying
Where you
anti-comes.
gonna create this from? I remember I know the guy. It was
Study the GDP and
Saddam Hussein was the guy when he had come out and like for some reason he don't watch in your eye and didn't shake your hand. So I was like, he's shaky.
Oh, that's
and
the
then,
MP.
Yeah, and then this when he was going up against JW. So JW, you know, he's balance coming down.
Saddam.
Yeah, so both of them like having their tribe. First and foremost, this is how I was like the one ethnic looking
Were
person.
you a paid political blogger at that point?
No. This was years after. This is last
Last elections.
yeah. Okay. Was it?
Yeah.
Oh no, election
That's
before
usually
that.
on
That's
Saddam.
the last
Yeah.
general election. so.
Yeah.
I on the street with my brethren. We had the two ethnics there. That's the word I'm going to use now. The two only ethnics. So of course, it had USC coming up. They didn't stop for us. It was like, yeah, we just skipped. I was like, so I don't get none. I was like, oh yeah, let me hear what you're saying.
Nah.
The guy, the guy who's like the manager, I'm assuming, come and say, hey, come and see your next MP because he turned wrong.
Yeah.
And I see the guy and I'm like, you don't really watch people in their eye or shake their hand.
You did
JW now
not
trying
to this
to
man.
basically do a Palance concert. And so he did like, I
He's
don't.
an entertainer.
Yeah, he just there and it's like, oh, you know, you guys, he's talking. And I just sit down there like, how you want? That's the unique question I ask him. How you going to create 75,000 jobs? Like,
So you asked that question?
I wanted to get work.
Okay, so you asked that, and then what was the answer?
Wait till the answer was.
Well,
don't
the
know, I wanna
75,000 jobs didn't materialize, so it never come out.
Actually, that's what he said. If you want to get a vote from me, this is why the voting is not really like somebody trying to solicit a vote. Yeah, when it's not for me, my brethren say it's for the dumb people. Like, because you could promise whatever, I'll fix your road.
And it'll never happen.
It doesn't have to happen because I don't really care
It doesn't matter.
It's not for you, you know. It's not for you. It's like for
But
the...
do they even promise that? Because I remember last elections, the roads were terrible and they didn't even try to fix it. It's like, you know what? We know you will vote for us. We're not even fixing the road. Like the bare minimum, what you know everybody just promise you every election. We're not even fixing the road.
Honestly,
you was a child, right?
the only place I think, honestly, that we know not going to get a road fix is Library. Like, understandable. Okay. No, because it's
it will end up
that's so cool.
You were a little child, right? When a wise man sang a song, "The rant of a madman is the only solution," right? Everywhere you go, somebody chanting for we, vote for we, and we will set you free, right? And it's like a whole monologue of politicians being tricksters.
Yeah,
that happening since we were children.
Yeah,
and to this day, nothing has changed, right? The issue is governance is a two-edged sword. You need people to run the country, but people are inherently evil.
Yeah.
And power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts.
Absolutely.
You know, so to really mitigate that circumstance, you kind of have to have a more educated populace.
But they don't want an educated
population. The goal is not to educate the population.
Because it does not go in their favor. They could do whatever. Yeah. Because then people like us, there would be more people like us, and then they would have to get their shit together.
Correct. Yeah. So they're not going on.
That's how it is in like them. I want to say first world countries like
developed.
Yeah, they would impeach you quick or the quickness. It's like, hold on. Because getting on your road paved is like the bare minimum.
Bare minimum.
Like that's what you're supposed to be doing.
And we had like a road paving, like machine.
We sold the pitch league, by the way. So, leased the pitch league to China.
No, to China. Yeah. So in 99 years, when all of us are dead, we won't remember it and they just go and renew. Yeah, and it's going to always, it's kind of like the alleged airport racket, where it's like, in 3 generations, your grandchildren or we grandchildren,
not gonna know anything about it,
and they're gonna be like, "How come they have all this money?"
But even those in like in their 20s and thing, they don't know anything about that.
Yeah. So we was cheering when all of that was playing off.
No idea.
How old are you?
I'm 35.
Yeah. Am I the eldest here?
Maybe.
No, with the smallest.
Smallest
head. Yeah. Yeah. No, don't worry.
Youthful features.
Yes, don't worry. And when you get it here now, like she cut it off. Trust me. So no, you are genetically good to probably be our mother because you're not going to give yourself pain when you make any child now because I'm afraid for whoever make a child for you.
Your head man, boy.
Your head small now, so when you pass, or the child is like...
I mean, I probably shouldn't say this, but my mother thought she needed to use the toilet and she thought she had to poop.
You see?
And because I was like the easiest labor, and then she was like, "Oh no, that was Kandace."
She hold it up and like,
and I managed to be born in a proper place, but like literally she almost had me in the toilet because I was like such an easy child, like baby.
You could tell.
But like I said, you see how long the hair is, right?
My hair was actually long. I just cut it off. But now growing back.
Hey, right. So we'll talk about how again you are a nice little haircut and thing. Because why go to the temples in India, guys? Where you have to, but you know this. What we're talking about, right?
No, we didn't.
The Himalayas.
No, yeah. Okay, so most weave comes from. It have a point in time. There's a point in time for the Hindus where like they have to shave their head by the temple or whatever, for whatever ritual they have.
Okay.
That hair is then bought. And that is what becomes the world's weave. I'm not even making this up. All weave comes from India.
I mean, India has a
because I mean, then isn't it like synthetic?
Well, oh God. Well, now when I say weave, I'm talking about like natural hair now.
Oh.
The more expensive one.
The bundles, the $5,000 bundles and stuff comes from India.
Didn't know that.
They have a whole documentary on it. Good hair. Chris Rock actually.
Shit. What?
And we had a documentary called.
So what did Chris Garcia do with his hair then? Like,
yes,
did you make him sell it?
No, he don't because he doesn't have hair like you. God damn it. He does. No. Have you ever met him?
No. I did see him.
She never saw him.
Nicole Griffith had this oxygen, this thing a couple of years ago. A really nice event in Hyatt, and we went, and Chris Garcia actually performed, and I hadn't seen him obviously since Shutting Back and all, and I was like, oh my God.
And then you still was starstruck. Yeah.
I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
Because like literally Chris Garcia was everybody's childhood.
The man make a hit us.
No, that's super hit. But yes, so his hair is pressed. But okay, for
the
you.
Flat iron.
No. Let me put it this way, because next thing you know, all the Indians is like, nah, I was duped. No, as you seen, his hair is just like yours. He's Indian, guys. He is Indian.
We'll try to get him on your show. Let him explain himself.
He's not.
Can I be here when he's explaining himself?
Don't find out.
I'm not. No, I just think it's cool. No.
Hello.
Hey.
All right.
Strictly
I just think he's cool.
What is I'm extremely woman.
No, everything.
Everything women. Yeah, everything women with Chris Cass.
Hey. It's not that kind of party, you know. All right. So, I mean, when I talk about the PNM, though, I talking from anecdotal experience. I grew up in a PNM stronghold. I grew up there, and since I was a child, two things I never understood: why you want to be a bad man, Lucky? Why you want to tote a gun for a bad man? Why you want to get beat up from him like if that's your father? Why you want to wear his shoes? Why you want to wear his
Because
chain?
you don't have a father and you don't have acceptance.
Wait, no, where area you grew up in? Like,
What area?
Yeah.
Actually, Shogunas.
oh, so when what that landscape was like that's when, because Shoguna's hot now in terms of.
Shogunas, specifically Lange Park, where
Okay.
I left at 11 years old when my parents split.
I
But
always liked lunchbox.
it was nice. We used to ride our bikes to like where the Nagar is. And back
the
there
what?
was
Where the-
Nagar,
oh.
Diwali,
Oh.
Nagar.
Oh. Sound like she said,
Why are you
you're not
this
doing
way?
it.
Why are you
When
this
she said
way?
I pronounced it, thanks for the correction because I had to say the what?
Diwali.
Naga.
Okay, I say Nagar.
You say the
I could be wrong. I mean,
you're not Hindu. You're not Hindu.
That's a really good question. I don't like to define things or like I don't like labels.
That's
but
a bottle.
I
This
think
is a glass.
technically
This is a
I
mic.
might be Hindu.
You come on? Yeah. Okay, here that's not going in. So all the sensible conversation is leaving now. She's
come back,
with
come
me
back.
alone. Yes. Yeah, you're right. It's okay because quick background. So I grew up pretty much East Indian, like
Right.
Hindu primary school, Hindu wherever.
Right,
So,
where?
Tunapuna.
Okay.
So that's why I was like,
Yeah, but I went to Montrose Viddic,
Yeah.
and then I went to St. Augustine Girls, which is
Sad.
Presbyterian.
Yeah, that's be our situation because then I was supposed to be in the first batch that went to
Hillview?
Vishnu Boys. That's when Vishnu Boys now came in.
Yeah.
So what they did was they gave everybody like a placement form. And if you sign the form, regardless of whatever you get in common entrance, because
You just go there.
Yes, and I'm going there. So I thinking all my friends signing this. I was like, mommy, daddy thing. They didn't want to sign it, but I didn't understand why. So I was like, what going on here? So me and one other guy, he passed for Hillview, I passed for Curiosity. And that's basically everybody else went Vishnu Boys. I had basically gone up, be the brother school to Vishnu Boys, because I went to Napuna Hindu.
Right.
And then that was basically
The natural progression.
So when I say certain things, like it sounds like I ain't really racist. I just
No, and
I
that's
just-
fine because I mean that's the thing. We are unfortunately really race sensitive as a country.
Yeah.
But like some conversations you can actually have without it being offensive. I mean sometimes people push it and they are offensive. But like why is it that we can't just because we're all different races? I mean I married somebody who is
No, she don't want to say it because
last name.
she don't
But
wanna
like,
say-
and I didn't even realize I was like in an interracial relationship until somebody on Facebook was like, "Oh, you're in an interracial relationship because of just like me," and I was just like, "Oh, I didn't." But I mean, we also think too much about things. So obviously, I know my husband when we were dating was an Indian, like I knew that, but it's not something that I thought too much of. But people's reactions to things is just like, what?
Question.
Yeah.
Why did you hyphenate and bastardize his great godly given name and just take
His name or my name?
Why you hyphenate yours?
I bastardized my.
You bastardized
my-
his name by hyphenating.
Hey, no, because of actually mainly because of my job. Because people wouldn't have known me when I got married. I was an attorney for like 10 years. So like people would know that name. So like and also it's super misleading for me to call myself Kandace Nahus because if I talking to you on the phone and I'm like yeah Kandace Nahus, let's like drop off your stuff for me, and then I come out and I'm like hi I'm Kandace Nahus, like you're like oh wait what?
They walk straight past you.
How are you? You know?
Oh, it does happen in the...
No, I assume it would be very confusing to people.
I didn't actually know what type of last name now. Whose was until
So
very
it's
recently.
Arab. I mean,
So-
people
Yeah, well,
people term all Syrians in Trinidad, all Arabs as Syrian, but he's actually half Lebanese. Well, Lebanese, Syrian, and Italian, because like he has a quarter Italian. His dad was Lebanese. His mom,
Who's got a quarter Italian here?
his granny was from Italy. Yeah.
Paisano.
That's diverse.
Paisano.
Yeah.
That's how you tell them.
But the thing is, like, a lot of people they just think all Arabs in Trinidad are Syrian, but they're like Syrian, all Lebanese. So, I mean, fun fact.
Because okay, I know I say I know him because of the article I remember, like some article.
Which article?
Somebody, this one I know he's do karate and stuff, the karate guy, because somebody had attacked him once. This was what me papers.
Yeah. In Marval. This is like just
Ichoko.
over 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And
So I have him on.
He has a black belt.
Yeah.
So he...
He's a warrior.
He's been doing karate, martial arts ever since he was a kid.
So a whole thing, somebody tried to rob him and he actually...
It was actually in traffic. A guy hit his vehicle, like graze it, like tires hit or whatever. The guy was driving dotish. And so Paul he's a stickler for rules and everything. So he just calmly pulled aside, whatever. He was actually on his way to karate practice. So his gi and a bato was on his front passenger side. That's important for the story. And I'm
mapping it out.
And so the guy was obviously in a mood, so he parked real quick and Paul didn't even realize because he just there taking off his seatbelt, and the guy comes by his side, the glass was down, and like basically cuffs him in his face. Right?
Road rage.
And then grabs, and the guy was wrong, mind you. The guy grabs the bato from the front and basically tries to hit Paul with it. And Paul, with his great skill, came out of the car and basically subdued the guy in the middle of the road. So the video that you would have seen, and it's funny because we met the guy who did the video, but YouTube took it down for like bullying or something. Because you hear in the background, they say, so Paul is on the guy.
And had him in a kind of choke.
He was holding him because the guy was trying to get to the baton. And you hear somebody in the background say, you tried to beat up the white boy and the white boy beat you up. and then he decided not to like pursue it against the guy because the guy came and he was like, he have a court case with his child mother, he from Carenage, and like real embarrassment in the area for him.
Why are me calling Carenage?
No, just this guy. He had a court case going on, so he basically begged Paul come with his tail between his legs and was like, nah, he don't want any problems. And I think Paul had asked him to do an anti-bullying thing with some kids because Paul does a lot of community service and stuff with young kids. But I think he didn't bother to pursue it. But that video, like real people, like up to now, just be like, oh, you're the guy from the video, yeah.
No, I never see it. Was an article. Like I think expert. You really don't know this one.
No.
It was 2013.
No, you man is be up there. No, you're that hanging out was 2013. You was a different guy back then.
Yeah, I was in these streets in 2013. Yeah.
Not those kind of streets.
Not the illegal streets.
Not the red light streets.
Yes, you read it there.
That's why that light is that light, and this light was for me because I was always the good person.
Good cup, bad cup.
And then like what happened? Because I feel like them rules flip.
This is the attorney critical question coming out here.
What happened was I realized you could get a bundle like here for like $5,000. So every time I watch you, I was like, I just like in them cartoons, or is this city person?
Money's dollar signs.
Yes, you let's flip it one more time. Oh,
Cha-ching jackpot.
Oh yeah. Yes, baby. Jackpot. Yeah.
Brother, you can fight karate?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. he also teaches firearms. He does firearm training.
He had to find out how to get FUL, because I mean
he does consultations.
Okay.
Shameless plug.
For sure. Because I have him on Facebook. So on Facebook now, he had the only thing I remember like of notoriety that he put other than that thing was some about training. Like
firearm training.
No, not firearm training. This is a quote about
like
training.
A philosophy.
If you train long enough, it wouldn't matter what. You would always have to fall back on your training, so that's why you should train like every day.
Sound like a Navy SEAL dog.
Yeah, but he takes that seriously because he does his shooting training every day.
More masculine men in Trinidad, is basically where we need to go. There is no such thing as toxic masculinity. More masculine men will actually help in terms of protection of the woman.
No, for sure. And the thing is, but more, and that's why I think we should keep toxic masculinity into the conversation, because it's masculine men, but men with a certain value system.
Yes.
Because honestly, Paul is the gentlest, kindest, most loving person I've ever met in my life.
To prove.
Yeah. He's so secure within himself or whatever. And I mean, everybody's have their struggles. He had a hard life and thing, but he's a wonderful person. But he's also black belt, firearms. Yeah.
So we're talking about. So
and by the way, this is
great again.
This is a modern,
you don't get a plug like this.
This is a modern woman, a career woman speaking about her husband, like in a reverent way, you know.
No,
And
because shoo,
trust me,
that's why men go into the venues, you know. Like you should talk to the rest of them Indian girls because they're only pushing all the fellas straight to the Venezuelans.
yeah, there's a lot of competition.
It's a because you show an appreciation, actual appreciation.
You don't see this.
You
as
don't
usual.
see this.
No, well, you know, I've always thought Paul was like the nicest person I've ever met, right? Like, honestly, we met, I was dropping off some charity stuff for him. We met through charity and we still do our own thing. But we stood up and we spoke for about 30 minutes. And I will tell you honestly, like, as somebody who hadn't had...
Is it first time?
The first time we met.
But yeah.
But as somebody who hadn't had much interaction, honestly, with Arabs and who has heard things.
Arabs.
Yeah, no, like Arabs in Trinidad. Like, people say all kind of things about Arabs, right? Oh, they feel this, right? So I didn't know what to expect, but from his Facebook, where he was asking for donations and stuff, he seemed like a real stand-up guy. And we stood up and we spoke for half hour. And in that half hour, I mean, I didn't go there honestly looking for a man, right? So I went there to drop off clothes. I didn't know if he was married. I didn't know his age. I didn't know anything about him. If he was in a relationship, I didn't know. Because we didn't talk about those things. But the one thing, and I said this in my wedding speech, the one thing that always stuck with me was how kind he was, like inherently kind. And that is something that, I mean, it comes down to your value system.
Yeah.
And when we were dating, I was like, dude, like, how could any woman have let you go? Because you are it. And it's not a money thing, because we are both very normal middle class people, just, you know, trying to survive kind of thing. I mean, people will obviously assume last name and
Did you
whatever.
mention a boat somewhere?
And you mentioned Larchback too, so I was like,
Middle class
We say this.
Yeah,
we say
yeah,
this
yeah,
for
yeah,
the.
yeah.
No,
I
we
said
say this for the bacchanal. So who's the?
I
that's
remember
not-
you saying, yeah, Peters.
You have two last names and both of
Yeah,
them.
two last names. You know,
All the Baraths I know, except for one. No, he have money now. So yeah, he have money now.
Just saying.
Big up
But-
to you, Curfew.
Call the names, boy. But the thing is, like, on it. So I was telling him, I was like, you know, how did like anybody that you've dated before, no offense to them, not literally scoop you up, because
Right.
you are it. You are literally it. You are kind. You are ambitious. Even if you don't have money will come.
Right.
You know. But you are everything in a person that, to me, anybody would want to spend their life with. And he said this profound thing where he was like, you know, everybody values things differently. And that's it. And that comes back down to like the relationships and the Indian woman thing and the Venny thing and whatever. Yeah. Like, so many people, and it's not just an Indian girl thing or whatever, like so many people out there trying to prove something. And they don't realize when they have a friggin' good man. And, you know, we out there, women out there, breaking good, damn good men, treating them like shit, honing them, whatever.
Well, I damned.
Wow.
Not appreciating what you have. And then when you lose it, you're looking for a good man. But you had a good man and you treat them like shit, though. And that's the thing. People always looking for somebody who's better without doing the work themselves.
There's a word called hypergamy. That's what you're talking about.
Are you aware of that?
No,
What that word
not.
means? Okay. So yeah, explain that.
So, what's he kind of
All right.
psychology?
So evolutionary
It's psychology,
psychologists,
yeah.
Right.
They come up with this term called hypergamy, right? Coming from basically attracting mates.
Okay.
Women do it, of course, they attach hyper to it because women have a more developed ability to attract mates, right? You go outside now and say, sex for sale, people will run coming to you. The average man going out on the street and saying sex for sale, people be like,
Yeah, because women not necessarily attracted to sex.
yeah, you know. But again, hypergamy now comes into
I mean, that's not the main thing. That's what a lot of men.
I was talking to this camera. That's
Yeah,
it.
but I heard you.
I was talking to this.
But we digress, right? So hypergamy now is basically when women choose bigger, stronger, better males in comparison to what they have now. So the monkey branch.
Yeah.
All right. Men date technically across and down in terms of socially. Women date across and up, more up than across. So hypergamy happens now where this woman going with this man strong and all of a sudden she sees a better option. No qualms about it.
So
she leave you in an instant.
So let me say I have this BW bottle, and then I get a D bottle, and I just leave
Because
out my
mine
BW.
bigger.
Well,
Yeah,
size,
you see,
size is not everything. Okay, it's the
It's a factor.
It's the emotion in the bottle.
So you just throw this by the wayside and pick up the D bottle.
The D.
Careful what you're saying.
Pick up the D.
Right, and we move with that. But hypergamy happens. Right?
Hypergamy
That's
happens.
a thing.
But the way you're talking is completely based on character, not because I didn't hear, because usually I would hear, well, you know, he had nice hair, he light skin.
Yeah, he was tall.
He was tall.
No, I mean, you need to have a certain level of
But that's
attraction.
not your first-
No, my first thing is literally genuinely. I mean, you need to have some looks because attraction is part of a relationship.
Understandable.
But I mean, to me, it's really, and this sounds so damn cliche, but also having been in enough bad relationships to know, although you think that this is the kind of person that you want, it's, to me, the qualities, and this is something that a lot of women don't emphasize enough in relationships, and then they wonder why they spin around in circles and keep choosing shit.
Yeah.
And I used to be one of those who just kept choosing shit too. But at the same time, like, you are not looking at what the qualities of the person is and what the qualities you are looking for. But I mean, again, a lot of us self-sabotage as women, and I mean probably men too, but we self-sabotage.
Humans.
And like for me, after my last relationship, which was abusive, I had to question myself and why I made the decisions and what was even just broken within me that I was choosing badly. And the thing is, like, I knew Paul before that relationship. It was a bad time for both of us. And even up to a few days ago, we were talking and we were like, you know what, if we had gotten together when we now met and when we were kind of going in that direction, but it didn't happen, we probably wouldn't have made it. And we needed like at least like 2 years to mature within ourselves and like figure ourselves out. Because we were both like in a bad space, but we didn't even know we were in a bad space. And then I ended up in that. And then Paul and I, we were friends, and it was around his birthday that I broke up with my last ex. So, you know, we ended up going for drinks and talking and stuff.
She planned it.
I did not.
Planned. She was like, okay. But the weekend coming up. Yes, you see.
This might be the
Push her
time.
It was
argument.
weeks after.
Push her
okay?
argument. It's like, you don't wash the plates.
Hey, that's a very valid argument, but anyway. But no, and like, so we were friends for a while. I was not ready to date or whatever. And we were friends, and he was actually trying to get in a relationship. And I kept telling him, like, I'm not ready because I really needed to, like, heal from that last relationship. And there was a part of me that knew if we started to date, I will marry him. And I knew that to myself. Like, I told him, I was like, you know what, if we start dating, like, we will get married. And it wasn't like a psycho thing where you meet somebody and, like, the first day you want to get married to them. Yeah. It was literally that I always knew he was the kind of person and he had everything that I would have wanted to in the person that I wanted to settle down with. But I had this narrative in my head and I heard myself say, you know, but I'm afraid I hurt him. And I'm like, when do I ever hurt a guy? Like, I don't, right? So I had to like question myself as to why I didn't want happiness myself. Like, what was it? Yeah. What was it about me? And that's why I said, like, what was broken inside of me that I was self-sabotaging, choosing a certain way? Because again, this is like the whole accountability feminism thing. We as women, and I mean, I say this having been in a domestic violence situation, we choose badly. And we, sometimes you see red flag, red flag, red flag, whole PNM rally right before elections.
That was the name of my episode, actually. Red flag, these red flag. Yeah,
really?
No, hey, remember the Prime Minister say, oh, let's pick body. The Prime Minister say, oh, let's pick body.
That narrative is, it also takes accountability away from men, right? Because it also doesn't explain or go into the depths of the psychology of abuse, of manipulation, of gaslighting, of all of those things. But we will see 10,000 red flags and we are like, no, I know you better. I could fix you better. I could heal you. I am going to be the one to save you. And that is what we as women do. We refuse to accept the red flags. We marry him. He might be horning you. He might be beating you. And then 5 years down the line, he's still horning you. He's still beating you. And you're like, I can't believe he'd do this to me. He was freaking doing it from day one.
What about, and this is going, I don't know if this will get, what would make, I don't know how to say this.
Say it.
Just come out with it.
Suppose this girl deserve this slap. Suppose, like, what cause a rational adult? This was asking, a rational adult. Like, okay, me, a rational adult. I normal, I make my jokes, whatever. Come home, fuck you, back.
So, I think some women are actually abusive to men, but because it's women, you don't want to call it abuse. There are women who hit men. There are women who get up in a man's face and abuse him verbally. I'm not saying it's right to hit them, right? But there are also
Especially
women.
them short ones.
Oh, yeah, them small head ones.
I'm 5'3.5".
Them small head ones.
Yeah, but like there are women who are genuinely so toxic. Now, I'm not saying violence is the answer, and I'm not saying it's right to hit a woman, but I think if you're defending yourself, if a woman attacks you and you need to restrain her somewhat, I think the whole narrative that a woman can't do no wrong, but at the same time, it's a funny thing because like also men who abuse, like even my ex, if he bust my face, he literally was like part of his narrative, which is a whole long story, but he was like days after when we were semi-dissecting it, him with his gaslight himself was like, I lunged at him. I was sitting in a car. My glass was half up. He came out and punched me in my face. Yeah. And I did not lunge. You know? So like, but in his mind, because I honestly think he's bipolar and he's an alcoholic, he obviously, like, that's how their minds work, right? They perceive a threat that isn't there. But there are some women who are genuinely very, very toxic and violent towards men. I'm not saying violence is the answer.
Because I was going to ask is, because I know it's a narrative. I'm not sure if you heard it before. He don't love me unless he lash me.
Yeah. That's a sad, broken narrative.
No, like, you know what I want?
Yeah, I heard it
no,
before.
but it's part of the whole, I think...
Green Days by the River, have a thing in that? Or,
I don't know. I don't know. I talking about it was just a thing where a girl know her father to beat her mother her whole life, and she thinks this is normal.
So that was broken within her, and she needs to obviously fix her issues and realize, like, she does not want to repeat history. But
you talking about my stickers. I get my head bust, my lip bust from my forehead. I get cough in my eye from a girl. This girl is like, you know the girl. You know the chick. And I just like... This girl is tiny like you was. You know.
Tiny.
Yeah. And I just like, eventually it's have your limit. So it's like,
yeah.
And then you're feeling bad about it after.
No. This is, I'm putting on my big daddy hat here now, right?
What?
Dealing with, I just said it for spite. I wanted to say this for the longest while. But dealing with a man becoming physically violent with a woman. I think not just on her part that she's unhealed, but women who end up with those men and men who end up with those women who become violent to them, they both see the red flags. Men see the red flags, you know. Men see the red flags.
In all fairness, Smalley was saying, you sure you want to DM me? You sure you want to be me?
Listen.
You sure you want to be?
But that's what it is do. My ex literally, I was having this conversation recently. My ex literally was like how when he was in QRC.
Oh,
but he was years below you. He was years above you.
Oh,
I know the guy.
No, sorry, I lie. He was Fatima. Sorry.
Oh, okay. He gay.
But he literally was like, oh, well, his nickname in school was Psycho. I dated that. I was like, yeah, your nickname was Psycho. Let me date you. Like, you run head first into shit.
No,
because
said,
you
I'm
think...
crazy, you know.
Yeah, your red flags is be there.
You ever see, you know the T-1000 is from Terminator 2?
No.
The robot, yeah.
Oh, you ever see Terminator 2?
Yeah, I just can't remember.
Okay,
like,
the metal man, the metallic liquid guy who ran down the car. Imagine a girl your size. Mind that was skinny like me, was skinnier. She was skinnier.
I apologize on behalf of my gender.
Running down my vehicle.
Tenacity, yeah.
Honestly, sometimes bitches be crazy.
Oh, we're not going to say bitch on the show. Okay, God, Lord.
I just did.
God, Lord, you was on the tip of my tongue.
Listen to this.
Hey.
No, but we are also as women not accountable because we push the narrative that men are the only abusers and there are women who are abusive
no, but
too.
if you're a big man and you're making a woman, you see the red flags and you still make this woman come and hit you and you go back.
No, I was in
love
at
makes
the point,
you do
no,
some really
no, at the
crazy
same point,
things.
at the same, yeah, that's codependency. At the same point in time, I was in my 20s. Psychologically, you know, you're not really mature.
But again, when you are in a toxic situation, it's hard to even like that becomes your normal, you know.
Yeah.
And only when there's just some saying, I can't remember it verbatim, but like basically only when you smell fresh air, you realize how toxic something was.
Like
when you're in it,
landfill.
like for me, it was mentally abusive for like more than a year. And then it became physical for 5 months. For 5 months, I had blue blacks all over. I literally get slapped, seeing stars across the, like,
I mean,
literally...
I like to see stars all the time. I mean, that's
it's a real thing. Like, you literally get slapped and you kind of just literally see stars.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, that was my normal for 5 months. And I think, like, my brain, like, your brain goes into disassociative state. So my brain literally didn't even want to accept what was happening to me. I was not ready. When the first bus phase came, well, the one bus phase, but the first time, it was like almost, it happened like after midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning. And 2 o'clock in the morning, I sent a photo of my bloody face, blood leaking down, whatever, to someone very close to me. And because I just need to tell somebody.
Yeah.
And days after, when they were trying to have the conversation with me, I was like, I don't want you saying anything. They were like, that picture was real scary. You want to talk about it? I'm like, no, I don't want to talk about it.
Off.
Yeah. And like coworkers used to, like once, I used to wear like long sleeves. And once, I think the AC wasn't working or something. And I took off my jacket and like they saw hematomas all over my shoulders and my arms because he's literally used to like slap me against the wall, like slam me against the wall, throw me on the bed, doorpost, whatever. And I laughed it off and I told them, yeah, we will play fighting. Or I did that. Now it's a little bit foggy, but I either told them that or that I attacked him. Something like that, I told them. But the thing is, like, your sense of what is happening, it's messed up. Like, you don't even really know literally whether you're coming or you're going.
Yeah, yeah.
But the problem is a lot of the times, like, we glorify toxic relationships, and it's a whole Harlequin Joker thing where like people actually like model their relationships out of that, and they're like, you have to fight for the relationship. No, if you are fighting for a relationship, it's probably a relationship that you should not be in.
Our next good example, because you say Harlequin Joker, I think the worst example you could ever possibly use, and everybody's be like, who's that? Romeo and Juliet. That's a toxic as fuck relationship. That was
but that's the most epic love story.
She was like 14, I recall. He was 17. Yeah. They was in feuding families. They were not supposed to get together. Yeah. And he was already on a rebound. So like, let me be real here.
Unrequited love.
Yeah, and of course, just because he looked like DiCaprio in that movie with Claire Danes, it's like, this could happen to me too. Bitch, kill herself. No, who killed herself? No, he killed himself because he thought she killed herself. And then she killed herself.
Yeah, that was the tragic part of the movie. Yeah.
No, and I was like,
I think any play, right? Any play, they both killed themselves.
No, at the end, one thought the one was dead, and then that's what happened in both. Except as opposed to our dog, they use a gun.
No, I think she killed herself first, and then he killed himself, and then she woke up and she's like, getting like not a drop for whatever.
Yeah. So, yeah. And this is what women, unfortunately, romanticism has caused this in them novels. Being with Jack Dawson. It's always DiCaprio. Being with Jack Dawson, it's like, let me leave Billy saying this perfectly rich man will mind me and my mother out of our poverty and get with this bubble-ice written.
Yeah.
But Beauty and the Beast.
That was about that. No, what's his name? The buff one. Not
oh God.
You know the name. You know the name. You watched it yesterday.
Gaston.
Yeah.
Who's Gaston?
The buff guy from Beauty and the Beast.
No, but even the Beast, like the Beast lock her up, whatever. I mean, he was still trying. Yeah, he was trying to be nice, but like, I mean, like, and if you look at all the Disney princesses, like, their situations were less than ideal.
Are you familiar with Jordan Peterson's work? Okay, so he has a whole take on this Beauty and the Beast story, meaning that he points the finger at women wanting to always conquer the beast in a man. Now, it has some merit in it. As he further explains, it's like,
we're gonna go extra. We gotta go extra.
Yeah, we gotta go extra.
Yeah, sure.
As he explains, it's like inherently in a woman, she wants to see that dangerous side of a man, but just not at her. She wants to know that he's competent and dangerous enough to protect her from the elements.
Yeah.
Provide, but just be able to take that beast mode and
flip it.
Yeah.
But there's a psychology. Like, if you Google why do women attract like violent men
bad
or like
boys.
bad boys, there's literally a whole article. I don't know if psychology today or whatever, but like there are articles as to the psychology of why a woman, and it comes down to the whole, you like evolution, and you think like that's a stronger mate and whatever.
Yeah.
But also we want the things that give us adrenaline. Like a lot and that goes back to the whole why do people cheat and whatever. Because eventually your relationship, I'm not saying it becomes boring, but it doesn't become what it was like in the first month. And that's natural.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You have to do things to make it exciting, whatever, keep the fire and love alive and whatever. But like at the same time, when you go out there and you see somebody or you meet somebody who making your heart race, like how honey made you feel first day and whatever. Yeah, like it's like, you know, and because we keep chasing that when we have to realize, like, you know what, yes, that was part of our relationship, but things change and the relationship changes and the way you feel about the person changes.
Of course. Naturally.
But we chase that adrenaline, and I think that's why we choose some of the kind of men that we choose.
So now, hot take. That one for what you were saying, and then thing. Hot take is, this going to be serious here. This going to be very serious. Making a child hurts a lot. You got to take a little lad, go for your man, Gil. A little lad, go from your man, a little lad. Hot take. But like, think about it. I thought on it. Remember the thing with me? It's like, we just take the labor of birth and it's so painful. A little lad, go if you love
yeah,
you.
but I think
you.
like it comes down to not just the fact that you've been slapped, but the psychology behind it. Because having a child is one thing, but there's like a happy reason behind that pain.
Or you get endorphin release from afterwards for the bonding moment.
Right.
Yeah,
but I mean,
oxytocin.
but also the fact that is a good experience altogether. I mean, it's painful, but at the end of the day, you have your child that you love more than anything, whatever. But like, if a man hits you, like, what's the good in that?
I mean,
like, what is the...
that's a good argument there, guys. I was asking just for the abusive ones who was listening to the show, but she catch me there.
No, that's a valid point. You know, there's nothing good coming out of taking like...
Oh, no, who? I would say this. That and the adrenaline release and a line. Because some chicks like to get a little slap.
Yeah, but the circumstances are different, though.
Because directly after the...
Yeah, I don't believe in that.
Directly, not every case, but I'm talking about probably this might be extremely anecdotal. But directly after, both all this sorrows, all this just bone after.
Yeah, no, I do not believe in that. I think like
Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Like Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Work out your issues. That shit that like should stay on TV. Work out your issues. I don't believe in that whole
I
sex thing at all.
And it's like, the thing is like, okay, and then, okay, no, since you beat me, like, what you call it, this stupid shit that was fan fiction from Twilight. Or no, it became... That all girls wanted a billionaire to beat them up.
50 Shades.
50 Shades.
Oh, yeah, I didn't watch that.
What's his name again?
Mr. Gray. Mr.
Gray. Yeah.
Okay, so that's for you. And then for the next aspect is, I have seen with my own two eyes. No, I have this friend. He is one.
Is it really just a friend? Or is
no,
it's
a friend. He's one probably of the most physically dominant males. Like if they had war, he would be in the front line of physical battle and thing.
Like like my husband.
Nah. You'll watch him. And at no point in time think he would even be. Nah, this man is like genetically predisposed, like Mike Tyson, kind of like a freak of nature. Since I know him since Form 1.
He's designed to be a warrior.
Yeah, since Form 1. I have never seen him lose a fight, and I've seen him in a lot of fights. And it's like against multiple people. It's like real kung fu movie shit. I have seen this same gentleman get splash in his face and I say pow in the middle of a club. And I had to see this man.
By whom?
By a girl who is half his size. I mean, granted, she was a hottie. A hot girl, whatever.
Hot girl.
And why did she splash his face?
Because his ex-girlfriend was just there. I have nothing to do with
them.
But
that just goes back to bitches be crazy.
No, and I stand, when I tell you this slap, this is, if you ever went Zen,
Yeah.
Upstairs. Music playing loud.
And you hear the slap.
Pow!
Crowning moment.
And he, like, have to, I know this is a man who could instantaneously just snap her. No, snap her. Like, I talking about if he leave a black mark on my arm, just like, hey, was he seen by, like, grab my hand. That's how strong naturally he is. No working out and shit. And then he just watching me with this kind of like another. And I watching this man like, he's like, oh, this fucking girl, boy, this fucking girl.
Yeah.
And that man stay with that girl in that shit for years. Off of the notion of he was young, it was a wet girl. and you just he slapped from, and I just like, wheeze boy. This all around the city. While he was with her, I was with this next. So both of you was like,
toxicity.
Yeah, he in a toxic relationship. So the four of us always liming now.
Yeah.
That's that kind
crazy.
of shit.
That was a crazy
This
time.
girl now still hasn't healed, and is a
Should you say it?
like,
Go ahead, I say it, though.
she's a life coach.
But I mean,
And
has
blames
she?
him on her shit.
Oh, because I was thinking,
That
you know,
man.
has she? Well, I mean, there's
Oh,
two
yeah,
things,
well.
right? Has she become a life coach in her journey to heal herself,
We
right?
don't know.
But also, I do think that sometimes some people bring out the worst in each other. So you could be a good person, I could be a good person, but like together, it just does not work. I mean, it's different for like a man being abusive or
Yeah.
whatever, but sometimes people literally like they bring out each other's demons.
Yeah.
And
I can see that.
and it just, for some reason, maybe it's just too much emotion, maybe it's just the time. Because, I mean, in your 20s, you're still healing from shit, right? I mean, even in your 30s, but hopefully by the end of your 20s, you're kind of in a better state, right? And you're not taking that shit into your 30s. But in your 20s, like, I've heard so many stories of volatile relationships like that, you know, like same thing in angry Indian girl, like that seems to be a thing. Like I didn't even know that was a thing until I started to hear stories.
Hey, 2024, we gonna make all great again. We bring in Indian girls back, baby. I'm telling you. Anyway, let's go.
No, but like, you know, girls who feel the need or feel like it's okay to do the same thing, to splash a drink in somebody's face or to throw the tantrum or to attack him and pull out his chain. You know, like, how is it that anybody could think that this kind of behavior is okay? Let's just say you make a mistake, whatever, right? And you look back at it and you reflect and you're like, you know, like my behavior really wasn't the best. But like, how could you just go through life like thinking that this is okay? And that if he triggers you, and this is something I learned from my last relationship, if he triggers you to the point that you do something that's out of character and you reduce yourself to his level, that is one of the first signs that you need to leave that situation. Because if that's not who you are, because even like my last ex brought out like parts of me that like, I literally, it's just from dealing with so much mental abuse. And at some point you're like, snap, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, that's not who you are as a person. And if somebody has reduced you to that level, like, is that who you want to be though?
You have a choice.
Yeah.
You have a big choice. Hey, yo, let me tell you, we could go from now till
Oh, you actually calling it? Okay, you're calling it.
the cows come home. You know,
Time.
yeah.
Yeah, she was enjoying herself.
Hey, I got here for almost 7 o'clock.
Oh my!
yeah?
Hey,
Let
that
me
was
just
my
say-
that was my
let me
that,
just
that was my
say.
fault. Yeah, there's something called CPT, colored people time. Yeah, is that a? Yeah, ask your husband about that. Ask your husband about that. You know, boondocks. Thing.
Oh.
So we are at the end of our episode. All right, this was a very insightful episode.
Yeah, that's it. Final words. Come on,
Yeah.
Jerry.
I'd like to know the name of this episode because we talk about so
Oh,
much different
okay,
things.
so-
Making young girls great again. That's
No,
why
please.
I want to.
No, please.
We always try to come up with an outlandish name.
Yeah, no, that's cool. That's
Yeah.
cool.
You come up with something. Yeah. I feel it in your dog.
Whatever.
But for the most part, this was an insightful conversation. The M&Ms was Gerard.
Yeah, this was supposed to only be green ones.
Gerard, why
Really?
are there so many colors in the M&Ms?
I specifically said green only, and
Yeah.
that's what made it.
All right. So thank you so much. You have any final words you want to tell us? Well, tell the nation, young girls, young men, whoever.
There's so many things. But probably coming from what we just spoke about, honestly, it's on us to just be better people. You know, stop looking for the perfect person and whatever, and you just try to be the perfect person that you could be,
Yeah.
and you know, everything else will flow from that.
Good stuff.
But I mean, also, I love what you guys do here. I think it's
Really
it was a good conversation. You know,
Our roses, yes.
yeah, nah,
you.
y'all are good, and y'all are good hosts, and I honestly liked a lot of the ideas that came out of it because I mean I didn't expect to go into politics and all of that, but
Yeah.
really and truly,
Candid conversation.
y'all have a good, and that's the thing, we need more candid conversation.
For sure. Dude, man. You have anything?
All I had to say is, don't worry. I could probably get off our head for like, I don't know, like $500. I want you to give Shaman for that bundle here out there.
I
Like,
mean, I feel like how short I have to go though.
no ball. I got in it. You grow that back. You
It's
grow that
a
back.
religious ritual, right?
It's a religious. You supposed to be Hindu once a year. You know, that's Do we have to do?
I'll think about it and later.
Oh, that's what we talking about. Okay, so ladies, just hit me up on anything. Yo, got a nice little bundle. Yo, without no coconut oil in this. No lice, what I seen. I ain't seen nothing on the scalp.
Lustrous.
You're good. Let's do a little twirl. Oh, God. In slow motion. In slow motion.
Cool. 3 rules. Make up your bed, brush your teeth, bathe. All right? Every morning. It will be all right. Everything will be all right, right? So do good every time and good will follow. This was your show. We gone.